Hello, welcome to Conversations with Yemi and Bimbo David. Today we have a special edition. Before we get into that, we'd like to appreciate everyone again, as always, for liking, subscribing, joining, sharing, and we just keep up imploring us to share, um, invite other people, your friends, to join us in these conversations. So like I said, we have a special guest. So my husband is not here today, but I have our first daughter with us today.
Hi everyone, my name is Pelumi Davids.
Yes, so Palumi is joining, taking the place of her dad, and I'm excited to have this conversation with her. So obviously, different generations, different backgrounds, different mindsets. And so I'm interested in hearing from your perspective about some of the things that we've talked about here. One of the episodes we had, in recent times, we talked about social media. Of course, we have talked about social media and the life, the social media life. So we have so people think social media is the absolute truth. What they see on social media is the reality of life, pertaining to relationships, pertaining to, their lifestyle, things like that. So, of course, I have my perspective. So I'm going to ask you, first of all, how important is social media for you as a student and all, and then how it plays out with your relationships? If
Okay.
social media impacts on your relationships and how it does.
Okay, so I think, well, I'm 19, so I think a lot of my life has been spent on social media. And I know for a lot of people around me, my age mates, social media is very, very important. And it's just how we communicate with the world. We see the world through social media, through Instagram, through Snapchat, through Twitter. That's how we see the world.
TikTok.
Yes, TikTok. Yes, that's a big one. So social media is a very important avenue with how we communicate with each other and how we connect with the world. I would say for relationships, I know there's a funny thing that has been going around of how some teenagers, for example, when they see a celebrity relationship breakup, they'll be like, oh my gosh, I don't believe in love again. And they'll forget that their parents are still married at home. So it's forming that reality of what love should look like, what a friendship should look like. So I think, that's a very interesting angle.
Okay, that's very, very interesting because it's so true. So the fact that a celebrity relationship broke off
Yeah.
doesn't mean that's the reality. But a lot of teenagers, or let me not just say teenagers, Gen Zs, what's the generation?
Gen Zs,
Gen Zs,
millennials,
and all that. See social media, the life that is depicted in social media as the truth.
Yes, or very, very close to the truth, yes.
And they forget that the reality is that, like you said, their parents are still together, but it doesn't click. So what do you think is going on? So is it that it's because of those celebrities, the younger generation tend to believe or accept the life of the influencers more than the real life that they have, the real interactions that they have?
I think it's that a lot of teenagers want their lives to be like the influencers. So it's like they are living their dream life. So because of that, they almost place themselves in their influencer world, let's say that. So what's happening in the influencer life becomes their reality, even though it's actually not true and they don't show us everything. So they just feel, okay, so and so broke up or so and so are fighting, and it becomes a big thing in their head, and you're wondering what's going on.
I'm really finding it difficult to.
Yeah,
really?
Yes. So you just see many times, for example, celebrity couple that broke up, and you see in their comments, I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. And they're like, are these people, are you living with them? Are you living in their house? So, but it just looks like yeah, in-laws. So they call them online in-laws.
Really?
Yes. Because like you see how they comment like they are living in their house and they know their personal life, but it's really not.
So how then do they live life? Because there's a world, a social media life that is almost like that is their reality.
Yeah.
But but they have their real life, as in they have their friends, that
Yeah.
is that they have their parents, they have their siblings, but it's looking like the younger generation will miss out on true, authentic,
Definitely.
but they don't
Yeah.
see it that way.
Yeah, I think a lot of teenagers and young people are becoming addicted. And like some of my friends say they have noticed that their emotions, they're not really in touch with their emotions because of how quick their emotions can change online. For example, you see a sad post and you feel sad, and the next minute you're seeing a happy post and you're happy, and the next minute you're seeing something that's exciting, and you're feeling all these emotions at once, and it's like we don't know that it's actually affecting us subconsciously. And then when we live outside, we don't like how our emotions relate in the actual world. We're not really there's a disconnect
Yeah.
because we're not handling our emotions online. So something.
So you see, this is really important. Why we have to talk about this. I know that a lot of younger people are lonelier than even us as adults in this generation, because even though they're the ones on that space or in that space, they are not connected in the real life.
Yeah.
So I'd like to, just use this opportunity to encourage young people, if you're watching, or maybe you're a parent of a young person, to help. We need to help. I guess I'm thinking
Yes.
so, because even for her, she's 19, as she said, but intentionally there are times I'm like, put that phone down. Let's talk. Let's play a game. Let's go out. Let's take a walk. So we need to help them. Like she said, it's an addiction already, and then we need to help them break that addiction. We need to help them connect.
Yeah.
Let's not, sometimes we feel it's easier to give a young person a device because they are not disturbing in that sense.
Yeah.
So they just throw the devices at them, they need it. But at the same time, I know that I've spoken to teenagers, and I know that sometimes teenagers also want that some form of not absolute control, but they also know that they still want some form of control from their adults. They may not say it, but they still want it. So with things like, you're going out, come back at this time. So they may just throw caution to the wind and say, I'm free, I'm independent. But still, teenagers should have that form of boundaries. That, put the device down, let's take a walk, let's play a game, let's talk, and let's help them. Because the truth is, I've been hearing more about teen suicides, young
Yeah.
people committing suicide, young people being depressed, young people doing, a lot of going to some extremes because, in spite of the fact that they are the ones on social media.
Yeah, and I think it also has to do with attention, because when teenagers feel like they don't get the attention, like in the family or with their friends, they go to social media. And an influencer the way they put their caption, I think is very smart, because they throw out a question and we answer it in our head. So automatically we think that the
You
influencer
understand
is giving us attention. And like we post something, people comment, they are giving us attention, and that gets into our head. So we're like, the only way we get attention is by going on Instagram, going on TikTok, and losing out the attention that might come from parents, siblings, or actual friends. So I think that's also
Okay,
another
so
big
what
thing.
would you say, if you're going to talk to an adult, a parent, what kind of attention? Because parents would say, I'm making money, I'm working hard for you guys, I'm trying to put you to the best, at least give you some, invest quality in my children. So what would you tell an adult, a parent that has a 19-year-old son or daughter, how they should pay attention to them?
I think I know teenagers can say their parents are disturbing them, but we actually like it. Like honestly, we like it. And I know some people can brag that at least my dad takes me out. It becomes a bragging thing. So I think intentionally, even if it's like once a week, twice a month, you don't have to go out or spend money. Just stay inside the house, watch TV together while you're talking. Just something that you are doing together. I
Yeah.
think that really helps, and like it leaves a memory, and that memory actually counts
Yes,
more
yes.
than the
That
money.
memory is important. There's a way we treat one another that the person feels that, what, this person is
Yeah.
not paying attention, or like we always say here on this platform, there's no value, there's no respect. So it's about listening, it's about, talking, it's about, allowing them express themselves, even if what they're saying is, why are you thinking that way? Don't judge them,
Yes.
accept their perspective, their opinion. Don't get into the how can you be talking like that? Those extremities, and then having those conversations.
Yeah.
Yeah, right?
Hmm.
Okay, so if I want to be an influencer as your mom, yeah, because social media social media can also impact positively. I'm sure you
Yes,
know.
yes, yes.
But I shouldn't be an influencer.
I don't think so.
Can you imagine? Why?
I
Why?
mean,
But you see, the thing is, they are Christian influencers.
yeah,
Yeah, because I know you've spoken about some of them,
yeah.
and that's their because I feel that there's an agenda, or there's
Hmm.
an intentionality behind some content on social media,
Yeah.
where influencers push certain content and they're being sponsored, to promote certain principles, certain beliefs, certain behavior. And as Christians, we also need to come on board and, tell people that, what, okay, it's a free world. Everybody has the right. Social media is open to everyone. As much as you're doing yours, we too, as Christians,
Yeah.
right, should also give voice to some standards that we know to be right, or we've proven to be right, right?
Yeah.
Creating content that it will help, that will uplift, that will encourage. So what do you think?
I think a lot of Christians are still ashamed of being Christians because
Hmm.
I think they live double lives. Because, okay, you see a lot of influencers, for example, yesterday, Sunday, they'll go to church on Sunday, and then the next post is something totally different from what they posted about God. So I think a lot of Christians are still like ashamed or scared to be fully a Christian on social media. I know, for example, if you post a Bible verse on your Instagram story, people will be watching you more carefully about what you're going to post next. So I think posting that restricts some people's behavior. So I think firstly is to ask like teenagers, young people on social media, that are you really a Christian, and like how is that actually reflecting your behavior, or are you just a Christian on Sundays? Because then once you start actually living like a Christian, you'll be careful of what you post, the caption, who you follow, and that will automatically, even if you don't want it to, automatically reflect in your post or the content you even see yourself. So I think that's the first thing.
Okay, I agree with you, and I think I know I follow some celebrities and some influencers on social media that are Christians.
Okay.
However, they may not necessarily say, I'm a Christian,
Yeah.
but their content would tell you that this person's a Christian.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that, because we're not perfect. Is it disadvantage? The perk with social media is that social media, like you said, everybody is now, the spotlight is on you.
Yeah.
Once you start getting some followership, people are following, you have, people responding to your content and all, automatically you're on the spotlight.
Yeah.
However, we need to be able to, it shouldn't stop us from promoting whatever it is we want to promote, knowing that, what, people will talk. I know a number of people that have made mistakes, Christians that said something that they shouldn't have said, did something that they shouldn't have done, but they still love God. They still, but the world out there will judge you. And that's the disadvantage. We can't talk about Twitter. Twitter is a crazy place where people will talk. So if you know that, because some people, that is the skill that they have, that is
Yeah.
the gifts that they have, social media. So you have to understand that.
But I also think that people feel you can't make money as a Christian creator. Like, especially, for example, in Nigeria, there are not a lot of Like we can't point out maybe one or two Christian creators who we say, okay, they are living well compared to creators that are doing content, just
Yeah.
secular content. So I think that's also stopping a lot of people, that they can't make money being a Christian content
Content
creator.
creator.
So what is the point of actually doing it?
Because people are more
In tune with
attracted
to the
to
secular lifestyle.
yeah. So
Yeah.
that's what gets the money, right?
Oh, well, that's what it looks like. Gets the money. I mean, you get like brands from like secular brands calling you, but
It's so
if you're a
true.
Christian content creator, such brands might not want to come to you, or you can't, or you wouldn't want to accept some brands. So it's a bit, yeah. I mean,
Okay, it's so interesting. You know what? I'm really intrigued by some of the things she said. Some things I didn't realize, as a Christian mother, a Christian leader, and the fact that, there's a financial part to it, the security to it, and all. And it's so a conversation that we need to keep talking about. We will talk about this and more. Thanks for joining us.